Yes. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play with me, your host Tim. And today, we are going to be playing Ultima Underworld 1, the Stygian Abyss. It has been a long time since I played this game. I think I beat it 20 years ago, was the last time. I may have to turn the music off. See how loud that is when I test this video. Anyway, yes, Ultima Underworld. So this will be my next playthrough. This is a dungeon crawl game. It takes place with the first-person view. I believe this game was made around 1991, 1992, I think. This was one of the first games that used 3D as well. And it doesn't look so bad, at least I don't think so, although I do play lots of older-looking games like this, so that's probably just my preference. Some prep. Obviously, I think you already heard me, but I have beaten the game. It was a long time ago, but this was one of the games I beat. As we play it, I'm going to begin remembering things, like where things are on the map and how to go get things. I don't remember it all at the moment, but my mind has a unlimited capacity for storing useless information, like where all the dungeon levels look like in Zelda, and everything I played for a long time when I was a kid. This will all come back to me. In fact, as I'm talking to you, I believe I am beginning to remember how to, like, even use the Lizardman language in this game to rescue somebody, which we'll get to later. In any case, I have some quick things to test on Fraps, and I will be right back when I make sure that this game is recording everything. Be back. Alright, it definitely seems to be keeping, so that's good. I just updated my Fraps, in fact, to a new one, and apparently I own Fraps, like I purchased a license, and it took me some time to try to figure out why Fraps is only recording in 30 seconds, only due to me having somehow grabbed the wrong installer. Anyway, we should be good. So I had play-tested it before. You can see the Journey Onward selected because I have a save game. This was me trying to understand what was wrong with Fraps, and then in-game, Fraps is doing weird things to my cursor, so hopefully we won't see that again. The cursor was going back and forth. So we're going to create a character. We'll walk you through that, and then we'll see, hopefully, everything will be good when we actually start playing. So here we go. So you can choose between male or female. I don't think there's any real difference in the game other than your portrait. And of course, people refer to you as a she rather than a he. But unlike the Fallout games or other things where if you're a girl you have different conversation options than if you're a guy, there is no such thing like that in this game. Since I'm a guy, I'm going to be choosing a male. We get to choose if we're right or left-handed. Again, I don't believe it makes any difference. I'm right-handed, picking that. And you can pick a character class that you want to play. I believe when I was a kid, I played through this all the time as either a bard or a shepherd. Which class you pick determines what starting skills you get, and like automatically, and then which skills you can select from a limited pool that class would have access to. So, for example, if we pick bard, you see my starting stats here, and he starts with an attack and defense he's allowed. He can pick either lore or charm as an option, as a secondary skill. So we're going to pick lore. He gets to pick from one of these skills next. We'll take some swimming. And then he gets a final pick for one of these skills. We'll take mace. Then I would pick a portrait for my character. Pick a difficulty level. Pick standard. I get to choose a name. Test. Then it'll ask me if I'm happy with them. If I'm happy, I can keep them. If I'm not, I can click no. Now, the game gives you random stats here, but that are not so random. This is the first bard I made. If I was to quit the game and make another bard, he would have the exact same stats. If I don't keep this character and make a second bard, he'll have different stats. If I was to quit the game, make one bard and then a second bard, that second bard would have the same stats that my original second bard had. So still with me? The stats are random, but they're also fixed. They're randomized, I think, like, they save the stats, and they're probably saved somewhere in the game system as random numbers, but you get these random stats in the fixed order. So, we're not going to keep this character. We are going to pick a male. We're going to make him right-handed, and we're going to play a Tinker. I've never played a Tinker before, and I think Tinkers specialize in having the repair ability. I think one of the few classes that start with it. I've never used the repair ability, actually, but it might be kind of useful, so we're gonna try this out. So, I'm gonna pick Tinker, And I think I'm going to start with an attack of 10 and a defense of 6, and a repair of 5. Let's see. No. 7, 7, 10. Okay, I see. So if I was to pick Mace, I'd have a Mace of 9. If I pick Picklock, I'll have a Picklock of 6. Yeah, see? So I've written down, because I wanted to play the Tinker for this this playthrough, I wrote down all the stats for like the next 14 picks of Tinker to figure out which one I want. Before we go on, and before I go ahead and finalize my decision, I'll explain some of these right now to you. Strength plays to how much damage you do to creatures when you successfully hit them with your weapon. It also directly plays into how much stuff you can carry. Double the strength, and this is the amount of stones you can carry and weight. 44 in our case, when we start this Tinker, if he had this strength. Higher strength is better, get to carry around more stuff. We will be carrying around lots of stuff later on. Dexterity plays into how easily you hit creatures, and I believe how easily you can dodge them. This is also modified by your stats, just like strength is modified by stats as well. I think Dex plays into your jumping distance and or height as well. Intelligence is how decent you are at casting spells. A high intelligence is really good. Low intelligence, not so good. Intelligence 20 is actually really good for a Tinker, as Tinkers tend not to have high ints. And Vitality is how healthy you are. I think this affects how many hit points you gain per level, but I'm not familiar with the math to decide out how good you are at that. So with that, I'm going to stop recording until I have gotten the Tinker I want, and we'll pick up once... Alright everyone, I think we're going to pick this guy. He's got a strength of 22 and a dex of 22, so he's pretty good at hitting and dodging blows. His 16 int is not the lowest for a Tinker, it tends to be around 14, but he's not the highest, so spells will not be his forte. As such, if I decide I'm going to cast any spells, and I'll probably want to cast a few, we're only going to be going up to the 3rd circle, probably most. I won't be specializing in a whole lot of those. Vitality of 34 is on the low end for a Tinker. It seems to fluctuate between 34 and 35. Let's give him a name. We'll call him Trimus, because I'm really fond of that name. And we're going to keep him, and let's see what we get when we start the game. Alright everyone, welcome! This is Ultima Underworld, and this is what the game looks like in all its glory. Oh, hold on, Fraps is hiding stuff on my screen. I'll be right back. Alright everyone, oh, Fraps is actually not doing that weird thing again. But hold on. Wow, that's really weird. I apparently need to have, Fraps not minimized in order for it to not do that crazy thing you saw with the mouse. So now that we're in the game, let's save it really quick. Oh, and while the game's paused here, I'm going to go over a few things for you. These are the dragons. They don't do anything but flex their claws and whatnot. This is my compass, always points to the north, so you kind of have a general idea where you are. This is how much life you have, how much mana you have. Here's my portrait. It shows what parts of me are armored and which are not. Currently I'm just wearing clothes, barefoot, blah blah blah. How much weight I can still carry. I can carry 44 pounds. These slots are inventory slots where I can stick backpacks and bags, as are these. But these slots, directly here, correspond to my arm slots. And these also affect the world in front of me. What do I mean by all that? I believe that if I have a lit torch, for example, I could put the lit torch up here, and that would provide light. I could then have a weapon in that same hand, and I could then swing things with that weapon even though my torch is up here. If my torch was down here, I don't believe it affects the world in front of me. Got it? This over here, this crystal, this is the how far charged up your weapon is for swinging to determine how much weight you'll throw when you use the weapon. Fully charged attacks do a lot more damage and hit more successfully than weak attacks do. In fact, I can't even think of a reason why you would not want this crystal to be green before you swing your weapon. You'll see what I mean by that as we continue. The gargoyle head up here is actually very important. When you hit an enemy, his eyes will light up a different color. Green, yellow, red. That's letting you know how damaged the enemy is that you're attacking and hitting. With yellow, with green meaning not damaged, yellow meaning moderately damaged, and red meaning the creature's close to death. We will save the game. Let's flip this over really quick and we'll go over this really fast. Let's pause the game again. So here we can see our stats: strength, dex, intelligence, vitality, how much mana, and how much experience we possess. Strength and I don't believe these stats can ever be increased, or I don't remember a way to increase them. These are your skills, and these will be increased as the game goes on. As you see, we have unarmed and sword and axe with all zeros, mace, etc., etc. Later on as the game goes in, we'll be able to raise these stats somewhat randomly at first, and then we'll be able to pick what ones we want, as long as we know how to raise them. We'll go over that at some later time. Needless to say, very quickly, if you are familiar with Ultima Underworld, I will not be recording the use of the randomized stat increase attempts by me, because I want to make sure I get the most out of my uses of it. If that didn't make any sense to you, don't worry. Can I actually click on this? Oh, go, because the game's paused. Let me turn to the game. You can see a ton of other stats I have no points in whatsoever. Some of them are really useful. Some are not useful at all. I will go over them as I gain them or not. Clicking on your potion shows you how much health you have and what your max is. And with that, we're ready to start. You can interact with the world by either using the mouse or by using the keyboard instead. Mouse gives you finer attunement for turning. You can turn a lot slower using the mouse than you can with the keyboard. Anyway, this means turn this direction. This means turn and move slightly in that direction. Like I'm slowly moving up. Just move straight up, move straight back. Side strafe. If you want to use the mouse. You can use the keyboard for all these functions also, though. And I'll be using the keyboard for the most part. To look down, you can tap the number 1 key a few times. These are all hotkeyed over here with F1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to hit F3 to pick up the grab icon over there. And we're going to right-click to grab this bag and put it on our character. Notice that we consumed 3 weight by doing that. Let's open up the bag by selecting the Use key over here. I used the hotkey F6, and we'll left-click on it. And this is all the cool stuff that's in the bag. Let's take a look at this stuff. What do we got? We've got a day-old apple, a day-old loaf of bread, and a day-old fish. You can tell how hungry you are by clicking on the compass. I'm currently well-fed and awake. It is on the first level of the Abyss. It is my first day of my imprisonment. I guess it is currently early evening. I believe we are on a time limit in this game. I do not know that for certain. I'll have to look that up later. Or maybe someone else who's watching this this playthrough can give some advice on if that's true or not. Anyway, we have a weapon here. We have a badly worn dagger. We have no skills with swords, which would cover daggers, but it's something, so we'll equip it there. What's this? A somewhat used torch. Alright, we'll put that up here. Oh, my map! Okay, let's click on this. This was pretty revolutionary at the time. This will automatically map out things as we discover them, like an auto map. As well, you can actually write notes on the map. Entrance. For example, it'll help you remember where things are. It goes up to level 99, but there are not 99 levels in this game. I think the dungeon is either 10 or 11 levels deep. If you don't like what you are something that that you typed, you can delete it by clicking on the erase and clicking on erase to delete the whole line. Of course, well, writing stuff down is kind of, you can also backspace to get rid of it. But once you left-click to stop writing, the only way you're going to get rid of that is to use the eraser. How awesome is that, huh? Alright, I think we're ready to do some exploring finally. So the map is kind of important. We want that up here, so we can always know where it is, not in this bag. This will be our food bag. Oh yeah, we're going to need to make sure we realize where everything is so we can easily access it. Let's use the torch to get a better look around. There we go. Yep, different light sources light up the world in different amounts. With, I think, the spell Sunlight increasing it the most. You can see way down corridors and whatnot. And no light being the least. So we've got an impressive-looking door. The locked doors of the Abyss. Is they open? Nope. The guard outside is going to wait for us to bring Ariel up here. What do we got?